let's get back to it. So we've just finished the subways, but now we're going to descend even further underground into the underpass. That was quick. Yeah, I try not to take too long, but still enough time for me to get up, walk around the house, grab a drink, use the restroom, make sure legs are stretched. But now we're going to be descending down, and I actually should have been a bit more careful with my healing supplies because I'm all out now. And as a bit of a pro tip, efficiency tip that I did not follow, if you're playing on hard or extreme or anything above that on difficulty, and if you're playing New Game Plus, you're always going to have your HP drained down to 0 at this next part. So you want to sort of hold off on healing items until after you get through the underpass. You kind of want to save your supplies for after this segment, because once we go through this area on, and this is exclusive to hard mode and exclusive to New Game Plus. So because we're on extreme, hard mode and up, and because we're on New Game Plus, normally when you go into the underpass, everything is like this. It's all just concrete hallways. New Game Plus, hard mode, everything turns bloody and everything is fucked. And look at my health bar. Being in these bloody hallways drains your health, and it will always drain your health down to basically nothing, so that one hit from anything will kill you. And then they throw a lot of things in the hallways in front of you to potentially kill you in one shot. There's even more. Why are these halls bloody specifically? I do not know. They just give these specific hallways this bloody effect on extra new game to drain all your health. So if you're playing extra new game, but you're on normal difficulty, you'll still see the bloody hallways, but they don't damage you. It's only on hard or up where they actually drain your health. But I guess it's just to make this part harder, to take away your health before going into the underpass where it's narrow corridors and lots of enemies. Here's our blood-stained underpass map.
This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
Yo, Ducky. Ducky, thank you so much for the raid, man. Much appreciated. Let me shout out my man, the Rabbit Ducky. If you guys are not already following Ducky, please do so. He's a great dude. Good friend of mine for many years now. Wonderfully entertaining variety streamer. But yeah, please check him out. Thank you so much for the raid, man. What were you up to tonight? Hope you were having fun. And welcome, everybody, coming from Ducky's raid. I'm Nub Zombie. We are playing some Silent Hill 3. I, as a streamer, stream a lot of Silent Hill. I've been focusing mostly on Silent Hill content since 2015. And I do super in-depth story playthroughs for all the games. Everything in the Silent Hill series, even the weird spin-off obscure stuff like the arcade game and Book of Memories and the play novel and stuff like that. And I also do speed runs and challenge runs, all sorts of playthroughs for the Silent Hill games. Pretty much, if you can think of it and it relates to the Silent Hill games, I've probably done it over the last 8 years. But yeah, we're doing an in-depth playthrough of Silent Hill 3, talking about the story, the lore, the development history, all sorts of trivia. Nothing particularly useful looking on the shelf. Was doing some Super Metroid retro achievements. Nice. That actually reminds me. Duck Station has achievements that you can download for like PS1 games. Fan-made trophies and achievements, essentially. And they have achievements for Silent Hill 1. So one of these days we'll have to do a Duck Station playthrough and do all achievements. There's blood seeping out of the bottom of the locker. Is there something inside? I sort of want to take a look, but the locker door won't open. Ah, it's better that way. Not as if there's anything good in there. An eye patch and a cool beard follows, yes. If you're a fan of eye patches and cool beards, you're gonna fucking love Ducky's channel. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna leave this one alone. We're not touching those lockers. The side of the locker is badly bent, as if something hit it very hard. As a result, it's impossible to open. Blood everywhere. And this is where we picked up our... Let's go ahead and heal. I think we're past all the bloody hallways. I'm trying to remember if there's more after this. We'll save our first aid kit just in case, because we can just quick save. One of the nice features of Silent Hill 3 on PC. By the way, I'm playing the official PC release of Silent Hill 3. It was only ever released in physical copies. Konami never made the mistake of never selling this game digitally. They absolutely should put it on Steam or Good Old Games or something. But yeah, one of the nice things about the PC version of this game, you can just save anywhere. It's fun, a nice excuse to go through and play a bunch of stuff you may have played the death out of already. Yeah, that's a cool thing. I'll have to check out the retro achievement stuff. We'll definitely have to do that for at least Silent Hill 1. Camera. Extra shotgun ammo. Wine in a place like this? Well, I suppose it is dark and dry. Only one of the bottles is empty. Take a full one. Who cares? The world is turning into a horrible nightmarescape. Drink a bottle of wine. I would. Although she's already established she doesn't want to eat or drink anything from this reality, even though she chugs health drinks like there's no tomorrow. In fact, since we have 2 healing items now, we'll go ahead and use the drink so that we don't die in one hit, but we'll save the first aid kit. And that's why we used our health drink. Otherwise, that hit would have killed me. Those enemies spawn in after you pick up the wine bottle. But I'm pretty sure at this point, that's it for the bleeding hallways. God, that loading screen. You don't get to see that loading screen too much on the PC version. But you see it a lot on the PS2 version. But I love that loading screen effect. So many of the like animated textures in this game, for being a PS2 game, look so cool. That loading screen effect, the bleeding moving walls and burning moving walls in the church at the very end of Silent Hill 3, super cool. And just really impressive visual effects, especially for 2003. That, get some heals, and I've been talking about how much I love this game, how many things in the environment you can examine, and Heather will have a comment about it. Like, you can do that in Silent Hill 1 and 2 to a certain degree, but most of the time, Harry and James, they'll just kind of say, you know, oh, I have no use for this, if they say anything at all. Silent Hill 3, almost everything you can look at, Heather has something to comment on. And it gives you a little bit of her character and personality just by examining things. And this is a great example of that. The locker is filled with junk. If this was Harry or James, that would be the end of examination. That would be all they say. The locker's filled with junk. Heather continues, no, it's not junk. It looks like somebody's stuff. That's it. Just a little bit of extra dialogue. And it helps infer so much about her character, that she's mindful of these other things in the world, even though they're useless to her, even though this locker has no meaning. The items do not serve any purpose to the player or the gameplay. But Heather, as a character, is at least mindful enough to remember, like, just because I can't use it doesn't mean it's junk. It's somebody's stuff. It might not seem like a big deal, but I love those kind of little details in games. It's a great way to have just a little bit of something that infers a certain element of character, personality, onto a character. There's some kerosene left in the heater, looks like. If I had some sort of container, I could take it with me. We see this same kerosene heater model reused in the Wish House Orphanage in Silent Hill 4. Another cool little detail here, the wine bottle. This bottle was dropped at a corner of the underground passage. Look at the icon in the menu for the wine bottle, and it actually changes the icon when we fill it up with this oil. So right now it's empty. We put kerosene in the wine bottle and get the oil-filled bottle. And you can actually see the liquid in the icon. Like, they go through the effort to change that detail of the bottle to show that it is oil-filled. And the description changes. Oil-filled bottle. This is for moving kerosene to and from a space heater. Of course, I can't drink it. I mean, you can, just probably shouldn't. Don't drink kerosene. The more you know. This might be the fuel tank. There's nothing in it, though. You can drink anything once. I mean, that's kind of true. A lot of things it'll be the last thing you drink, but you can drink anything once. Put kerosene in the fuel tank. We didn't drink it. Good for us. Looks like a hoist on-off switch. Will you throw the switch? Yes, but first I want to talk a little bit about this scene. So the reason we're doing this is because the area below is flooded with doo-doo water. The hole's full of dirty water. I can't go down there like that. So we need to drain the lower part of the sewers, the underpass. And that's what this is doing. So the way this is doing it is there is a removable section of the wall, basically a door on a lift in the room below that covers up a vent. So whenever you, or a drain, basically. So whenever you turn on this hoist, you can see there is a cable and pulley that's going into the wall and going down behind this device. So it raises up that wall from below, which opens up the drain, which drains out all the water. For whatever reason, instead of showing what's actually happening, when you throw the switch, this is the cutscene you get. A close-up on the machinery. And the pulley is going. And that's it. It took me so many playthroughs of this game before I realized exactly, like, what is this machine doing? Thanks to that thing, all the water's finally drained out of the hole. It looks like I'll be able to get down there now. If I can stand the smell, that is. So there it is. You come down. There's the other end of the pulley, the rope that leads up to the machine that we put the kerosene in, that hoisted that rope up, which lifts up this segment here, which reveals that drain and allows all the water that was in here to drain out. Wouldn't it have been nice to see that in that cutscene? Watch this thing slide up, watch the water drain out, instead of like a close-up on the pulley. Like, okay, even if you show me that, it's hard to tell what's happening. Yeah, I played this game a bunch of times before I finally even realized like how that was draining, like what it was doing. Because the cutscene just doesn't really show you. And it's not like they can't just show the water effect. Like, water effects can be hard to do. And showing all of that water drain out of the room for a lot of games would probably be a difficult thing to show. Except you immediately in the next room have moving water that looks pretty good. If they would have used this exact same water effect in that room and just showed it lowering, like draining out after that wall part slid up, you'd have a better understanding of what the machine's doing. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, Silent Hill 3. That's why Silent Hill 2 is the better game. I don't know. It's a very small, stupid nitpick, but you notice these kinds of things when you play a game 12,000 times. Let's show something kind of cool. First, I want to kill this boy over here. Peek him. So he doesn't come over here bothering me. And we're going to make a save here. And I'm going to show one of the speedrun tricks, just because it's a cool thing, and not everybody has probably seen this. So I'm going to reload that save because what I'm about to do skips a whole lot. And it's stuff that I want to show. It's not stuff that I want to skip. But in the Silent Hill 3 quick save, quick load speedrun category, you can go out of bounds and skip pretty much the entire sewers here. So there's an interesting bug in this game where if you go to the edge of a raised platform, Heather will jump down. So she'll have an animation where she jumps down. If you're on a higher platform, she'll actually like teeter on the edge before falling and usually dying. And it was discovered that in the one frame while you are going from your standing animation to your jumping animation down, or your teetering on the edge animation, that if you quick save right as it's happening and then reload that quick save, you notice I'm now over here next to the door. So reloading during that, if you quick save during that one frame of animation while you go between standing and jumping, it displaces where it reloads Heather's model. So every time you reload that quick save, it's going to put Heather in a slightly different spot. If you hold your ready weapon button to make Heather ready the gun while you're loading this, it puts her in even more of a displaced position. And you can see this position, she's actually partially clipped into the wall of the sewers. So from here, you can actually walk straight through the wall. And if you know where you're going, because you have to run blind, you can run through the out of bounds void and wind up in this hallway, which is the exit to the sewers. So that is one of the big skips used in the quick save, quick load Silent Hill 3 speedrun category. But we don't want to skip the sewers. There's actually stuff in the sewers I want to talk about. So we're going to reload our save and continue on normally, but I just think the out of bounds tech is really cool. A lot of people probably haven't seen it or don't know about it. So I thought I would show it. Even though it looks easy, is it hard to perform? I had to practice that quite a bit to be able to do it. Because you are quick saving basically on a frame perfect, timing. You have to quick save at like exactly the right moment. If you quick save too early or too late, it doesn't displace Heather correctly. So it's relatively difficult, but if you get used to the timing and practice it, you can do it relatively consistently. But yeah, it's still a pretty rough input. Here is a introduction of a later enemy, the Slurper, which for right now is just down there under the water, looking creepy, just to kind of make the player stop for a second and be like, what the hell is that? Haven't seen a monster that looks like that yet. At least on a first playthrough. I'm just wasting my time looking around here. I'd better get going. Even so, it really stinks. It's going straight from my nose to my head. I mean, your nose is attached to your head, so that's how smelling things works. Now that's a lot of garbage. Where the hell did it all come from? I guess this is all the stuff that gets tossed out into the sewers. Got an ampoule. There's nothing that looks useful in the cardboard box. There's a deodorant inside, but it would probably be a waste of energy. Heather does not wear deodorant. Confirmed. It is canon. It's a canonical fact. Heather stinky. A wheelchair. Why would a wheelchair be thrown out here? Wheelchairs, been around since Silent Hill 1. Specifically, it is symbolic of Alessa herself. After Alessa was badly burned and she had to be moved around underground underneath the Alchemilla Hospital from room to room when she was being cared for, Alessa had to be moved around via a wheelchair. You see Alessa seated in her wheelchair during the final boss fight in Silent Hill 1, the cutscene leading up to the final boss. So seeing things like wheelchairs around, it's become sort of a Silent Hill just staple, visual staple in general. Hell, in Silent Hill 4, it becomes an actual enemy. The fucking wheelchair can hit you. But, yeah, in 1 and 3 specifically, these are symbolic references to Alessa. Heather being a reincarnation of Alessa. It makes sense. It's a broken clock. This is from the sewer 2. And there's our special camera angle to let us know what's important. Got a dryer. I found it in a sort of garbage dump. Still looks usable though. We also picked up the maul weapon earlier. I don't think I read the description on that, but it's like a big round pointy hammer. It's super heavy, but at least it's got some oomph. There's the oomph. You can do a big ol' slow attack with it. Not a great weapon, but if you're playing on PS2 and struggling with the final boss, there's actually a sweet spot where you can stand and not get damaged and just constantly wail away at the final boss's head with the maul. There's also a different sweet spot for the PC version, which I will be using against the final boss when we get there, that only works on the PC version. But we'll save that for when we get to the final boss. Come back out, and that slurper that was hanging out in the dirty water below is gone. Creeping around somewhere. Dodge these boys. Someone asked earlier if killing enemies builds up a particular stat, essentially. Yeah, Ciderman Legend. Said, doesn't killing enemies add to some kind of evil score? Yes. So if you're playing on extra new game, you have the potential of getting the possessed ending. It's essentially the bad ending of Silent Hill 3. You have to go very, very out of your way to get the bad ending in this game. It requires you to take a lot of damage. It requires you to kill a lot of enemies. And it also requires you to answer a thing later in a specific way. Basically, there is somebody praying in the church asking for forgiveness in a confessional, and you have to give them a specific answer in order to get the possessed ending. So even though I'm killing a lot of enemies, potentially enough enemies to get the possessed ending, as long as I answer the confessional the correct way, we shouldn't get the possessed ending. But then I might also be able to reload a save right before it and give the alternate answer, and we'll show that ending off if we can. We might not be able to. It can be a little bit specific to get, so I might miss it by a certain number of kills or not taking the correct amount of damage. But we'll try. I'll try and show the possessed ending if I can. There's something written on the notebook. There's a monster in the water. The bastards killed 2 of my buddies. I should never have doubted that old urban legend about alligators in the sewers. That was no myth. But no one believes me. They were drunk and slipped. We're not that damn stupid. Even calling it a monster isn't quite right. This is something else. All I know is something's in there. I'm going in now to beat that thing's head in. If you find this note, consider it my will. Revenge is futile, or so you may think reading this. But Jose and Jaime were my best buddies. Wish I knew how to do the deed. Guns won't work underwater. Even my famous knife work won't do much. If only I had a hand grenade. Hand grenade would be nice. But that's not a Silent Hill 3 weapon. There's hand grenades in Book of Memories. Reload our things. But like, what an interesting little note. Famous knife work? Yeah, exactly. Like, who is this action hero with famous knife work and hand grenades who's like a sewer technician? Where's his Silent Hill spin-off game? Danger. Keep out. This was probably pasted on that door there. I can see where it fell off. And you actually can. Look how there's like a darker spot on the door where the sign was covering it, and it's not as faded. I know we just saved, but I'm going to save here for convenience because optional death scene. We get tentacle monstered. So if you try to just cross, you get tentacle monster, insta-killed. And that is yet another Silent Hill 1 parallel. In Silent Hill 1, in the end of the game, in the last area called Nowhere, there's a fridge that has to be with a chain on it. And you have to reconnect that chain using a ring. Otherwise, if you examine the fridge and take an item from it, a ceremonial dagger, essentially, the dagger of Melchior, When you try to take that dagger from that fridge in Silent Hill 1, if you don't reconnect the links of the chain using the ring and try to walk away, a tentacle comes out, grabs Harry by the foot, and drags him into the fridge, where he screams, and you get an instant game over. So that's another nice, interesting parallel between Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 with this particular sequence. Also, I was showing the animation where Heather falls off of edges just before in order to do that out of bounds glitch. And just because it's really, really funny, I'm going to show some animations of Heather falling off of an edge here. So there's the teeter animation that happens at an edge. And if you don't let go of your controls or press backwards to move away from the edge, Heather jumps in and planks. I love that she just barely goes into the water and then just go stiff. Go completely stiff. Just go plank a wood mode. There's the backwards teeter animation and another view of the plank. Wonderful. 10 out of 10. Love me some Silent Hill 3. Alright. There's an outlet here. So that is where we're going to use our dryer, found in the sort of garbage dump. Still looks usable though. And that kills our tentacle beast. We get a little bit of a better look here at it. Yeah, definitely don't try that one at home either. This will kill your pet tentacle monster. And anything else living that conducts electricity. Which includes humans. There you can see that appendage just sort of floating up. Here's a nice, fun, extra new game thing. New game plus only thing. So once you're done dealing with the tentacle monster, if you investigate the water at the edge of the pool here, will you drop the steel pipe into the pool? You have the opportunity to give up your steel pipe and drop it into this water.
What was it that you dropped? Was it this precious gold pipe?
And so we meet the pipe fairy. This is a real thing in Silent Hill 3. A lot of people still don't know about the pipe fairy. What was it that you dropped? Was it this precious gold pipe? No.
Well then, was it this magnificent silver pipe?
That is a very magnificent silver pipe, but also no.
Perhaps it was only this filthy steel pipe that you dropped.
That's the one. The filthy one, the one with doo-doo on it, that one was mine.
I have finally found a truly honest man. In return, I will give you both the gold pipe and the silver pipe to keep.
I got a gold pipe. I got a silver pipe. And I also get my filthy steel pipe back. In the original fable, it's an axe instead of a pipe. The pipe fairy is a reference to an old Asian fable. It also happens in Dragon Quest III. Is it, Yarg? Is that a specific, like, old Asian fable? Because I always figured this was just like a reference to the Lady in the Water, as in like King Arthur's sword, that sort of thing. considering most of the mythos and mythology and stuff that they draw from tends to be more Western, but I would believe it. I'm not as familiar with old Asian fables. And I'm also not super familiar with Dragon Quest III, or Fire Emblem for that matter, Cyril Palazzo. Okay. Yeah, I always figured it was just a reference to like the lady in the water with King Arthur's sword or something. Also, as far as since people commented on it, finally found an honest man. She's like a pipe fairy. She's a fey creature. So when she says man, she means like human. A member of mankind. A not fairy. There's some complicated machine here. It's not on or anything. I'll leave it alone. Get me out of this noisy hallway. Ah, so you see where, speaking of noisy hallways, that this door that we just came through, when we clipped out of bounds, this is where it put us. So all the stuff that we just did, picking up the hair dryer, killing the tentacle monster, all that running through the sewers to get to this point, that's everything that you skip by doing that out of bounds that I showed. What happens if you select different answers? Oh, yeah. Let's reload. I'll show you what happens if you lie, because you do get different dialogue. With some wonderful voice acting.
What was it that you dropped? Was it this precious gold pipe?
So here's what happens if you lie. It doesn't matter which order of choices you make, like if you tell the truth for the first one or the first two, and then lie about the second or the third. Any lie for any of these questions makes the same cutscene happen.
You are a liar! I have nothing to give to you!
So she calls you a liar and has nothing to give to you. You don't even get your steel pipe back. You gotta go through the rest of the game pipeless. Which we'll do. Except that we'll get killed by a tentacle monster. She sounds like Claudia. Is it the same voice actress? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Donna Burke. Pretty sure that's Donna Burke doing the pipe fairy voice. Gold pipe do more damage? No. They are exactly the same as the steel pipe. In fact, let's get the pipes again.
What was it that you dropped?
No.
Well then, was it this
No.
perhaps?
That's the one. Gold pipe, silver pipe. So, let's look at the descriptions for our new pipes. So this is the base steel pipe. Steel pipe about 3 feet long, not very powerful, not hard to use. Silver pipe. How gorgeous. No stronger than the steel pipe though. Good against vampires and werewolves. There are neither of those things in this game. So it's just a regular steel pipe that looks silver. Gold pipe. It looks snazzy, but it's not strong at all. Well, maybe I can sell it. It says it's not strong at all, but it's not weaker. Like, the description makes it sound like it's weaker, but they're basically the exact same stats as the steel pipe. Same attacks, same amounts of damage. They just look gold and silver. I keep forgetting to use the hairdryer. Damn it. I thought my save was after the hairdryer. Just do it. Do that first. Here. Take my steel pipe.
What?
Yes. There. Now we're pipeless. And we're moving on. Whoops. Pendulums are so loud. Ouch. You love how annoying they sound? I mean, the intention is to be like a horrible grating on your ears and your mind type of enemy, so it's successful in that, but holy fuck. I can't stand being around them. I can't get in. There's an iron grate blocking the way. There's stuff all over, but definitely nothing worth bringing along. There's nothing in the drum can. Well, forget about that. Okay. That's fine. Cardboard box doesn't have anything useful in it. See, I love how just, even if it's something simple, Heather has so much to say. Just examining random things in the environment. Hey, Pineapple. Good morning. Come on, Heather, take the ladder. This whole construction, like, built... Whoops. I'm accidentally fat-fingering keys. This whole construction area is always so weird. It's got these giant, like, walls covered in these old fabric tarps, which Heather doesn't comment on right now, but in a moment, once we get out of the other side of this building, she will say something about them. Looks like a scaffolding with some tarps on it. True. But there's something just like really oppressive, confining when you are what should be outside. Like, we are essentially outside now from the sewers. But even being outside, you feel very trapped because of them. There are bags of cement or something piled up under the stairs. I don't particularly feel like lugging these heavy things around. I doubt I could use them anyway. Don't want to lug those heavy bags of cement around. But we will lug around a magic wand, a bulletproof vest, a flashlight, a radio, key, necklace, beam saber, handgun, shotgun, Uzi, flamethrower, knife, maul, 4 health drinks, 1 ampule, 80 handgun bullets, 6 shotgun shells, and 11 pieces of beef jerky. But we don't want to haul around a bag of concrete. That would just be silly. Before we go immediately to where we're supposed to go, there is a sign here. The 4th level floor has crumbled. For safety's sake, entry is forbidden. The door's shut tight and won't open at all. Thanks to that crumbling floor that we're going to be able to jump down where we need to go. And speaking of good audio and sound design in Silent Hill games, there's a really just out of nowhere, relatively normal, like it's just a thumping sound, but it sounds like it is, if you're wearing headphones, it sounds like it's right in your room, Really good 3-dimensional sound effect, essentially. Every time you think it's in your house. Exactly, like that was the goal. And it's very effective. It definitely works. It's a toilet. I thought this building was still under construction, but it looks like this has been used. Gross. It's a plain old wash basin. A wash basin. Nothing special about it. An electric cord reel and a bag of cement. Can't really use either of them. Hey, that's when you know the sound design is good. You gotta take your headphones off to make sure it's not a sound in real life. And see some bottles and cans scattered all around, and some very familiar labels. That's definitely Heineken back there. That green bottle. Perhaps a reference to Blue Velvet. Heineken. Fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. There's also a box of cookie and butter cake laying on the ground, which are assets from Silent Hill 2. Whenever you are in the storage room of the hotel near the end of Silent Hill 2, where you pick up the Cinderella music box, inside that food storage pantry, you can see these boxes of cookie and butter cake up on the shelves. And now it's time for everyone's favorite Metal Gear Solid reference. That's not actually a Metal Gear Solid reference, but everyone thought it was for a long time because that's what Dan Burlew wrote in the Silent Hill 3 strategy guide. So if you hit that wall enough times, you get a silencer. Which you can equip and unequip from the menu. Put it on the handgun or submachine gun to muffle the blasts. Less noise means it's harder for the enemy to find me. It seems to be a little weaker though. So they tell you exactly how it works. Your shots do not attract enemies. from as far away, but your guns do less damage. Your handgun and your machine gun do less damage. And it does give them each a unique firing sound. So here is the silenced machine gun. Compared to without it. And the handgun with the silencer. And without. Reminds me of GoldenEye. It's probably the same stock gun sound effect. That silencer handgun sound has been in like a lot of movies and games and stuff. So it's just a stock noise. It might literally be the exact same one in GoldenEye. And then yeah, in the Silent Hill 3 Brady Game strategy guide, Dan Burlew hints that this is to him apparently a reference to Metal Gear Solid's Solid Snake, because it's a body hidden behind a wall that's painted a different color, which apparently Metal Gear Solid 1 invented that, as far as Dan Burlew is concerned. Also, it's of course Solid Snake's trademark yellow pants, because everybody knows that Solid Snake is dressed like a giant banana. Everyone knows these things. Clearly, it's a reference to Metal Gear Solid. I don't know what's wrong with Dan Burlew, but he put that in the official strategy guide, and then a lot of people believed it for a long time. A lot of people still do. If you examine it, it tells you exactly what this is a reference to, though. I can see legs through the broken part of the wall. I hope those are just mannequin legs, but I guess I'm not that lucky. Just like the black cat. I wish I hadn't seen that. So, I mean, it's not a Metal Gear Solid reference. It's a reference to The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe. So, I don't know. I don't know why Dan Burlew said that's Solid Snake, but there you go. The real thing in the strategy guide. There's a little home made up of cardboard boxes and old blankets. I guess a squatter was living here. Look at that comfy hobo house. I can't see the 4th level floor. It's too dangerous to jump down from here. Not if we put this shitty mattress down there. Ugh, a filthy mattress. Will you drop it into the hole? Sure. We couldn't animate that. But now it's dropped into the hole, and surely that old, nasty, shit and piss stained mattress will definitely break a fall. It's like an 8-foot drop onto an old mattress. That would still fucking hurt. That would absolutely still fucking hurt. Hell, you'd probably have a spring from the mattress poke right into your skin the moment you land on it. I always like this music. It's just like really weird ambient with that drum beat going behind it. You don't really get to hear this anywhere else. It's just this one little segment. This is the mattress I threw down before. I don't need that anymore. It's some rubble from the broken ceiling. It could be dangerous if I'm not careful. You'll be fine. So, there's some pendulums out here. We got some pendulums that spawn out here. And if you are ever playing this game and trying to go for anything that requires kills, for example, unlocking the Heather Beam requires 333 enemy kills. Getting the Possessed ending requires a certain number of enemy kills. Or getting a 10-star ranking requires enemy kills. If you ever are playing this and for whatever reason you need to rack up enemy kills, this is your spot to cheese that out, because you can kill those pendulums and then leave and come back and they will just keep respawning. Oh. God. If you hit them while they're mid-attack animation, they just don't die. They just get stuck there. Anyway, they'll infinitely respawn. So if you're trying to rack up enemy kills, that's a good cheesy way to do it. It's a Mannequin catalog. I guess this is the reception area for a Mannequin company. Oh boy, mannequins. The tabletop is covered with papers. I don't see any info that might come in handy though. It's a thermal carafe. Hurrah. There's nothing inside. Damn, no tea. No hot chocolate. Okay. There's an optional room on the opposite side of this hallway. And it's full of mannequins. Everyone's favorite thing in horror games. It's a shame because mannequins have become like so tropey and so cliched. Even back when this game came out, like in 2003, mannequins are already kind of like an overdone concept. But I still like the scare, the little setup that they have with the mannequins here. This is the only mannequin with a head. There's something weird about the headless ones. Like they can still see me or something. Dick. The cardboard box is filled with arms and legs for mannequins. Here's a mannequin with no head or legs. I know it's just an inanimate object, but I'm still a little nervous. Afraid, maybe. And then the moment you step away, either to the other side of the room or towards the door, you hear a scream, which that scream is actually Heather Morris, Heather's voice actress, screaming. You turn back around and the mannequin is now headless. And there's blood. This is blood. Box is filled with mannequin heads. I think I'll pass on this. Handgun bullets. It's a mannequin body. I know it's not real, but it's still creepy. Just a cool little optional room with a scare and a little bit of ammo in it. I have some dog enemies here. Shadow of it coming around the hallway. Have you ever played Bloodlines? The mannequin scene from that was very good. Bloodlines as in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? Yes. Prindle and Enos. Law firm. We can't go in there. Monica's Dance Studio. We can go in there. And there's actually something interesting about Monica's Dance Studio. That only happens on New Game Plus and only happens with the Princess Heart outfit. First, let's come in here. Here's our map for this building, the Hilltop Center. And there's a drawer here we need to get into. You can just barely see that there's a rope in there. The drawer is open just a smidge. It must be rusted or something. I can't pull it out any further. So you very specifically have to go and get something to pry this open, even though you have so many things that you could easily pry this open with. But you know, Silent Hill, video game logic, Nightmare World logic. The desk is all cluttered up. It doesn't look like there's anything I'm interested in. All right. Let me... I know I just saved in that room, but I'm going to save again right here. Because there's some enemies in here, but because we are wearing this Princess Heart outfit, because it's New Game Plus, and these insane cancers in this specific room wind up having dialogue, weirdly enough. Well, let me try to kill the dogs. Die. My boy's up and running. Oh, come on. Sexy Beast, Sexy Beam. She's using the Sexy Beam move. because she is Princess Heart. Alright, let's see if we can get these boys to talk. Or at least this remaining boy. Trying to see if I can get him to knock me down. Also, worth pointing out, the block mechanic, you can never die to a blocked hit. Even if you're at 0 health, as long as you're blocking, an attack will not kill you. Another good pro tip there. That animation where he's trying to get up. Got the wiggly arm. Although I'm not getting the dialogue here, there's another opportunity in another room where I know it happens a little bit more consistently for me. It can happen in this room, but not as often. But we'll try again in the other insane cancer room. But there is some weird talking that happens. Basically, that enemy, the insane cancer, and Heather will start saying things in Japanese. So, we'll get it to happen. It's just doesn't always happen in that room. There's a guest registration notebook on the reception desk. I think I can ignore it for now. Its title is Repressor of Memories. What the hell kind of title is that? I don't get this picture at all. It's a good little inside joke kind of thing. Reference. Because Heather used to be Alessa. And her memories from her lifetime as Alessa are repressed. So, repressor of memories, but Heather doesn't get it, even though it relates to her very well. Now, this is a calm, relaxing picture. Mountain. Nice and simple. And it's pretty nice. There's a price written here. Let's see. 5,000. Man, what a world. 5,000 what? I mean, we're in America. Game takes place in America. So those are US dollars. But who knows? Maybe she's talking about yen. 5,000 woolongs. A ceramic pot. Not really my style. It's too big to use as a vase. There's a painted plate here. It's nothing special. Not a fan of art. So here is the screwdriver. We're going to need that to pry open that drawer with the rope in it. This flathead screwdriver was in a corner of the hallway. Totally ordinary. Just an ordinary screwdriver. It's a poster for an upcoming exhibition. Not very interesting if you ask me. What is interesting is this katana. The katana. This is a short katana, about 2 feet long. Pretty powerful and easy to handle. Wexford. Rules of nature. It's a katana, but I don't need another one of those. I think one is plenty. Too much stuff will just slow me down. Come on, we have all. You could have 2 katanas. Treat yourself. Is it actually a wakizashi? I think at 2 feet it would technically be a wakizashi, not a katana. Because katana would be longer than that. Wakizashi would be around 2 feet. And then you'd have a tanto, a really short one. In a typical samurai sword set, or katana set. She's an American girl, so it makes sense she wouldn't know. It's funny because you think about it like that, where it's like, yeah, she probably wouldn't. But also, this is a game made exclusively by a team of Japanese people who definitely would know. Even Jeremy Blaustein, who translated all of the stuff in this game from Japanese to English, lived in Japan mostly. So he would also know. He would also be familiar. Gallery of Fine Arts. Go in the office. The auto parts store. It's stabbed. It's stabbed. Squaring up. Stab. 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 Shit. I missed. Stab. 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 Why are you not stunned when I stab you in the mouth? Why can you still lunge at me? Here's a useless room. Oh, this is the dialogue room. I'm pretty sure. Can't remember exactly what I need to do. If it doesn't happen here, there's another place where it can happen. Use the maul. I've seen it done with a lot of different weapons. We'll try them all. Yeah, nowhere is here. The bar is like the most guaranteed spot where it will happen. Okay. But I know it can happen in one of these other rooms. So I wanted to try it. But we'll definitely make it happen in the bar. The room where you pick up the liver. But yeah, the same thing can happen in multiple rooms here. Here's our jack. We're going to need that to open up the elevator. Oil and foil and stuff like that. I can't use any of it. AMN Auto Parts. Just a bunch of serious looking papers on this desk. I don't need to take any with me. The phone doesn't work. What could be wrong with it? The memos and newspaper clippings are posted here, but they're not very helpful. Nothing interesting on the poster. Phone don't work. Got it. Got it. That should be everything here. Unlock the door. And that lets us come back over this way. So we've got our jack. We have the screwdriver to open up the door or the drawer to get the rope. The elevator doors are open a little. The space is too narrow to be of any use, though. That's a little bit misleading. Too narrow to squeeze through, but you can use the jack. You use this to raise a car when you need to change a tire or something. But for us, we open this. The door downstairs looks open too. No way can I get down there like this. It's fine. We'll go get the rope. Before we do, there's some more supplies over here that are definitely worth coming and getting. First aid kit and ampule. There are photos hung here. Maybe the locker owner's lover. Maybe. Let's zoom and enhance. Definitely a photo of somebody. It looks like a CG model as well. Nothing of interest in the locker. Whoops. There's a note on the locker door. I got a map of the building from Mr. Harris. Come to the office to get it. So if you happen to be here before you check the office where the rope is, they let you know that that's where to find the map. Just a calendar. Nothing interesting written on it. There are some magazines here, but nothing really important. One of them I've already read, and the other just doesn't interest me. I wonder which one she read. Was it Styles number 2? Or was it Woman in Black Swimsuit? Can't quite see what the title of the magazine is. Wish I could zoom specifically onto this poster on the door. There's like text written there. Can't quite see it. Got the rope. Nothing left in the drawer. So now we can climb down the elevator shaft. Used the rope. Even with the rope, that is such an ominous image. Just like looking down this long fucking elevator shaft, you can see that the door to the floor below is open. But like, damn Heather, you brave. I wouldn't do this. We use the rope to get downstairs. It works. If you go to climb back up, she just says, ugh, what a bother to climb up that rope. I'm going to look around this floor for now. I love that. He's like, I'm not climbing back up. It's a pain in the ass. I'm not doing it. You're not going to make me do it. I'm not going to do it. Door is locked. We'll be able to go through there. Let's finish looking around a little bit. Echo interiors and floor fashions. Article. Echo, it's an ad for an interior design company. More ads for furniture. Wood classics. Oh my god, look at that bench. And is that a swing chair? Hell yeah. And another halo of the sun. That old familiar pattern is on a piece of paper stuck to the vending machine. Who the hell put it there? It's not like it's the latest fad or anything, right? I would assume also because Heather is... Every time you're interacting with these, or not every time, but several times, she sort of questions, like, who put this here? Claudia would have had to take this same path ahead of Heather, because she's also heading towards Heather's apartment to get to Harry. So presumably, these have been put up by Claudia. Claudia wants Heather to remember her life as Alessa, because to Claudia, she sees Heather as Alessa. She thinks that Alessa is Heather's true self, even though Heather is a new person. She might be reincarnated from Alessa, but she is not Alessa. She doesn't feel or think the same way Alessa did. But Claudia, nonetheless, is probably still trying to kind of trigger these repressed memories and have Heather realize who she is. Or who she used to be. So if you think of like an in-game logic reason for these Halo of the Sun markers to be throughout the game, it could be that Claudia is putting them there intentionally. Just to make Heather slowly remember who she is, or to try to help her remember. Doesn't look like there's anything important around here. Lock's broke. It's just a bed. Nobody is hiding under the covers. Even though there is like a weird indent, kind of, on the blanket texture. Again, I love this sort of character mentality that they're expecting something to be there. Harry does a very similar thing in Silent Hill 1. When you're in Kaufman's hotel room, getting the motorcycle key, if you go into the bathroom and examine the shower curtain, Harry says there's nobody hiding behind the shower curtain. So it's very funny, kind of the parallel between Harry doing that in Silent Hill 1 and then Heather doing almost the same thing here in 3. Beef jerky. A dog figurine. It looks real enough to bite. They also reuse this dog statue as an asset for Silent Hill 4 in Henry's apartment building. Not in Henry's apartment, but one of his neighbors' apartments on one of the other floors has that dog statue in it. Doesn't look like there's anything important around here. Or is it the pet store? The pet store in Building World that has the dog statues. Oh boy. Too close. Guy. How? How did that miss? How are you not both being hit by the spread? Damn it. Yeah, we'll do that. It's a cracked flower vase. Is this supposed to be for sale too? A display of paper towel holders. Nothing to see here. Display of towel bars. The towels hanging on them are disgustingly dirty. I mean, they're pretty bad, but they're definitely far from, like, disgusting, like the worst things we've seen so far. There's the door from the other side that we just unlocked. Even though there's not really any reason to backtrack at this point. You can't even backtrack. You're stuck on this floor. Lamp hoods and flower vases. I don't need either. Underneath the covers are more display items. No time to be worrying about this. Sorry. A bathtub display. There's a dark red stain on the bottom. A little bit of foreshadowing to this other bathtub that we're about to see. Just for display, can't be used. Toilet also for display, can't be used. Technically, you can use a display toilet, you just can't flush it. Life hack. Not much interesting here. I guess I can just forget about it. Okay. The only interesting thing in here, we get a whole special camera angle, and Heather turns her head to look towards the bathtub.
I knew it.
Such good bleeding wall transitions. And here's some missing audio for the PC version. It's being invaded by the Otherworld. By a world of someone's nightmarish delusions come to life. So if you play the game on PS2, that dialogue is voiced by Harry Mason from Silent Hill 1. It's the exact same audio. But because of a lawsuit, Konami had to cut all the Silent Hill 1 audio out of the PC release of this game.
Did she do this too?
So that is another one of those bits of Silent Hill 1 audio that's missing in the PC release. One of the only downsides to the PC version of this game, because otherwise it looks and plays great even without mods. But sadly, those Silent Hill 1 audio clips are removed. I'm twisting the handle, but nothing's coming out. Here's where we get some of my favorite imagery, a lot of other people's favorite imagery as well. These open, laughing mouths and bleeding ears. And again, Masahiro Ito is on record as saying what these are a reference to, that all of this is supposed to represent Alessa's shrieking insanity. So that aspect of Alessa that is still alive through Heather has essentially been driven insane by the god that's growing inside of her. And these are supposed to represent that shrieking insanity. That Alessa is essentially not Alessa anymore. I mean, she literally is not Alessa anymore. She's reborn as Heather, Cheryl, whichever. But even Alessa herself, the memory of her has become distorted, chaotic, insane. Yeah, the texturing, especially like the moving texture that's sort of blurred on the corpse, gives it a lot of really interesting kind of depth to it. Also, that mouth. So a lot of people have pointed out the smiling or laughing mouth that you see for these shrieking insanity Alessa things. And a lot of people used to think that it is Lisa because there is a very similar picture of Lisa from the Silent Hill soundtrack. But I have that here. So, Lisa laughing, dosed on PTV. That's not real, but, you know, it's funny. But this is the actual image of Lisa from that soundtrack. And you can see that mouth is not the same. Not the same one. But I do know whose mouth it is. It's Marilyn Monroe. Who's that Pokemon? Oops. There you go. I'm not trying to do that. So basically it's a digital version where they altered it's like a 3D painting over this image. How did you find out? It's a very iconic photograph of Marilyn Monroe. Because a lot of the information I was finding online, people were saying it was Lisa, and I had that soundtrack and I could look at it and just be like, no, that is clearly not the same mouth. But I always thought that it looked kind of similar, and if you actually compare the two, yeah, it's much, much closer. Like I said, it's sort of like a digital painting over the original image, and there are some strange little details to it where they removed like her nostrils. Her nostrils are painted over in the one in game. So if you look at it closer, right there, always a little bit hard to get a view of it, but yeah, there's no nostrils. So there's some slight differences, but it is definitely taken from this iconic Marilyn Monroe photo and then digitally painted and altered. there you go. The source of the mouth. The iconic Silent Hill 3 mouth. The mummy-like thing in the wheelchair is just a doll. Or is it? Something about it makes me uneasy. Why, I wonder? And why is there a wheelchair in this building? Or a doll, for that matter? There's a doll in the wheelchair. I have a bad feeling about it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that shit. Again, more symbolism related to Alessa, who was wheelchair bound after she was burned in Silent Hill 1. Never noticed the floral, the lovely floral wallpaper. It's like molded and rotten, falling apart. Great detail. But it's understandable why you wouldn't notice it when there is this doll, horrifying doll in this wheelchair, kind of getting all your attention, along with this hooded corpse with like forceps and stuff stuck in him, holding another one of those dolls, very reminiscent of Valtiel in the design of it. Not exact, but there are a lot of similarities between Valtiel and between Pyramid Head, for that matter, in Silent Hill 2. Very similar looking body, arms, the smock, the dark legs, all of those sort of aspects that Masahiro Ito just tends to like in his creature design. You can see there's another little creepy doll at the very bottom, just sort of peeking his head up. Hard to zoom in on him. Yeah, right in the very corner at the bottom there, just poking his head up. Easy to miss. The details, like the ropes, almost looks like it would be like barbed wire, but it's just cord or rope holding these fluorescent lights to the walls. Something about that is just creepy as well. Everything in here is just super unsettling. Just to give you that nice transition into the Otherworld. I don't know what kind of plant this is, but it's withering away. Poor thing. It's fine. The yellow herb. Pick it up. We'll mix it with a green one. Oh, there's something here. Find the Holy One. Kill her. Is this a Resident Evil homage? Yes, Resident Evil invented small plants. Small plants didn't actually exist until Resident Evil created them. That's me. Specifically, that's a photo of Heather in the mall earlier. So this was most likely taken by Douglas. That's really creepy. But those are definitely some different sort of instructions than you would expect. Find the Holy One, kill her, ? So Holy One, somebody referring to Heather as Holy One would be a member of the cult. It would be Claudia, but Claudia would not necessarily want to kill Heather. She needs Heather to stay alive, to birth God. So the kill her question mark most likely came from Vincent, who would still refer to her, he still is a member of the cult, would still potentially refer to her as Holy One. And he would be the one partway kind of considering killing her. Not sure, which is why there's a question mark, because Vincent, he knows what the ritual is. He knows what the cult's plan is, what Claudia's plans are. That there is this god that's growing inside of Heather that feeds off of negative emotions. And Vincent does not want that god to be born. He doesn't agree with Claudia and the rest of the cult's views on God being born. Because essentially what they hope for, what Claudia hopes for, is the world to be purged completely. She wants to birth this god so that all of humankind will die and go to what she thinks is paradise. So that's Claudia's belief. Vincent does not follow that belief. He likes the physical world just as it is. He likes money. He likes all the pleasures of the regular world as it is. But because Vincent's aware of that stuff, it's interesting watching his reactions, knowing that he's aware that the god grows from negative emotion. Tokyo Sand Blaster, thank you for the Prime sub. Very much appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. So, save point also tells you what this place is. It's a mental clinic. And this is the examination room. So in this mental clinic examination room, we're going to talk to Vincent. And again, keep that in mind. Vincent knows the god is inside of Heather growing and that it's feeding off of negative emotions like fear and pain and anger. So he doesn't want to make Heather scared. He doesn't want to hurt Heather. And he wants her to not get angry. So watch how Vincent reacts when Heather starts succumbing to anger, to negative emotion, which he knows will cause that god to grow.
Heather. That's what you're called now, isn't it?
And who are you?
The name's Vincent. Don't forget it, okay? I'm on your side.
So you say. But how do I know you're not with her?
Her? You mean Claudia? Please don't lump me together with her. She was totally brainwashed by that crazy old hag. Well, I guess crazy old hag is a bit harsh. She is your mother, after all.
My mother? What do you mean?
You don't remember? Ah, so Harry didn't tell you anything. I guess he hid the truth to keep you on his side, eh? That figures. He's a pretty sneaky guy.
Don't talk about my dad like that!
Sorry. I apologize. Please, calm down.
How do you know my father anyway?
See that reaction?
I know everything. I know about your past, too.
Then tell me what's going on.
You don't know even that?
That's why I'm asking. If you know everything, then tell me how I can put an end to this.
Not yet. Why not enjoy yourself a bit longer?
Enjoy? I feel like I'm going crazy. Doesn't this place get to you at all?
Oh, It gets to me, all right. I find it most fascinating. Wait! I'm not finished talking!
I knew you were on her side.
How do you figure?
There's something wrong with you, too.
There's our interaction with Vincent. We get a lot of information there. He talks about Claudia being brainwashed by that crazy old hag. And then he says, you know, that might be a bit harsh considering that's your mother. So from that comment, you're supposed to infer, oh, he's talking about Dahlia. So he's referencing Dahlia. And again, if you are a fan of Silent Hill 1, you play Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 didn't have anything to do with Silent Hill 1. It was its own separate story. And then Silent Hill 3 comes out. And it's not marketed as being a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1. So you'd be playing this back in 2003 like I did for your first playthrough. You know, no information. There's no social media for people to spoil shit, really. There was still, you know, internet forums and stuff if you really went out of your way, but not like how things are today. And you'd get to this point in the game. So he's talking about this crazy old hag, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, who's he talking about? Should I understand the character that he's talking about here? And then he talks about your father, Harry, the sneaky guy. And that's your click moment where you're like, oh, this actually is a sequel to Silent Hill 1. This is your big aha moment where it's a reveal that he's talking about Harry Mason. He's talking about Dahlia Gillespie. He's talking about things from Silent Hill 1. So this is not a standalone game like Silent Hill 2 was. This is a straight up sequel to the story of Silent Hill 1. Something, you know, most people understand about this game these days, but at the time, that was a big twist. Got a lot of stuff. We're done with those shelves. Here's another difference when it comes to riddle difficulty. So we're coming up to a puzzle where we need to burn a painting by combining specific items. And if you're playing on normal or easy riddles, you'll find a book on this desk that tells you pretty much exactly what you need to find in order to make that fire work. That fire burn. And that's right after picking up this oxidol. You use this to disinfect cuts and stuff. It foams when you put it on. So you find that item, and on easy and normal, you find your book here to tell you what other things you need to sort of start that fire. On hard riddle, they don't give you that book. You don't get any extra hints to solving this puzzle. You just have to find all the items and figure out to combine them. TV looks broken. Switch doesn't do anything. Was it a big twist with Harry being Heather's dad? Yeah, that's quite literally exactly what I just said, wasn't it? It was a very big twist. That was the big twist moment of the game. Now we're in the Otherworld, getting through the Hilltop Center. And let's see if we can get that insane cancer Japanese dialogue to trigger. Usually I can get it to trigger in this room. I mean, you find out that Harry is Heather's dad way earlier in the game, and thus you might realize that Heather equals Alessa's incarnation before you even meet Vincent. You don't, though. You don't find out that Harry is Heather's dad until that moment. Vincent mentioning it is the first time that they give any inclination that this is related to Silent Hill 1. You get the little cutscene. I guess there is a few hints. You are right. You are right. You get the Cheryl cutscene through the static in the mall on the TV. So you kind of get that as a hint. And you get the Harry Mason voice dialogue after using the bathtub that transitioned to the Otherworld, where he says the nightmarish delusions come to lifeline. So it does, actually. I take it back. It does kind of give you some hints leading up to Vincent. But Vincent's the first one to just sort of spell it out, that Harry is her father. And the reference to the brainwashed, crazy old hag that is Dahlia. Let's see if we can get this dialogue. There it is. Buena. And when Heather gets knocked down, she'll say something unique as well. Come on, Heather, get knocked down. There we go. You can hear Heather say, Itayoka. Well, there we go. There's that dialogue. But let's reload so I don't have to waste my healing items showing it. Hi, Vincent. Bye, Vincent. So yeah, there's some weird Japanese dialogue that only seems to happen in certain rooms with that insane cancer. And you hear Heather speaking Japanese. It's not a different voice actress. That's still Heather Morris, just speaking in Japanese. And an unknown voice actor. I don't think anyone's confirmed who that is doing the voice for the insane cancer. But yeah, just one of those weird little New Game Plus Easter egg type things. Plus, Heather looks exactly like Alessa in the Silent Hill 1 intro. I wouldn't say exactly. They are somewhat similar looking, but so is a lot of Silent Hill character design because a lot of it's done by the same artist. So I wouldn't necessarily call that like an overt hint to Heather being Alessa, but definitely the direct Silent Hill 1 references. Cheryl on the TV in the mall, Harry's voice before the Otherworld transition to Hilltop, and then Vincent straight up saying, Harry's name, mentioning Dahlia, even though not by name, enough context to kind of figure out who he's talking about. And here is one of my favorite creatures, the Glutton. It's not aggressive, it won't attack you, but it is blocking the way. What the hell? I don't want to get too close, but I don't think it'll attack me now. Why not? All bark and no bite? Anyhow, it's in the way. I can't get past it. And it's the ground floor, too. This ought to be the exit. What a pain. Mendoksai na. But I just love the design of this. It has that spiraling, like, round disc for a head, multiple heads, with the mouth on it, again representative of Alessa and her shrieking insanity. And the torso is just sort of like a bag almost, like the Eraserhead baby. It's got like somewhat human-like feet poking out of the bottom. And then whatever these things on the side are supposed to be, if they're a part of it, or if they're a part of this like cage thing, if it's all a creature. Such a great enemy. I just love the design of it. To me, this is everything that Silent Hill monster design should be. It is abstract, so you don't know what the fuck you're looking at. And at the same time, it is disgusting and repulsive, so you don't necessarily want to find out what you're looking at. Like, that to me is peak Silent Hill monster design. It should give you that feeling. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I don't want to find out. Book's lying here. Looks like a fairy tale. Is it Silent Hill 2 or 3 that you find a coin with the names of the devs on it? Silent Hill 2. That's the coin puzzle in the Blue Creek apartments. What's up, DSB? Always wanted to ask you this. Do we see Napier again in Book of Memories? Patrick Napier from Downpour? No. There's basically no recurring characters that you actually see in Book of Memories. They reference other characters in like the notes that you find and in the joke ending, but not Napier. So we have a fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was a monster living at the gates of a village. It was a very scary and a very bad monster. It would catch people and crunch them up with its big teeth. The villagers were afraid of the monster and no one would dare approach the gates. Everyone was stuck inside the village. When the king heard about this, he summoned his knights. The knights eagerly rode out to defeat the monster. Ha! Take that! Their swords slashed and their spears flashed, but the monster wouldn't die. The monster tossed the knights into its mouth, one by one, horses and all. What was the king to do? He fretted and fussed and paced the floor, but could think of no solution. Soon after, the village priestess came to the castle. She was a very kind and good person. The king asked her to defeat the monster guarding the gates. The book's torn, the rest is missing. I remember reading this a long time ago. I think I borrowed it from someone. I don't remember how it ended, though. Didn't I read the story through to the end? So she's remembering this story, and it looks like it's a handmade book. If this was something made by a cultist, possibly by Claudia herself, or someone. So she's remembering this from her previous life as Alessa. See some more hanging bodies inside these fenced-in, sort of barbed wire covered areas. Another one of those Valtiel-esque corpses. Let's go get the liver without bothering this guy. For some reason, the only thing in the fridge is liver. I hope it's not rotten. He can just stay there. He's having a good night. Let's look at stuff. There are cigarette butts all over the counter. Pretty yucky, but otherwise not worthy of mention. Pretty yucky. It's icky. There's actual fucking blood and who knows what other bodily fluids. You just picked up raw liver. The cigarette butts are the thing that she's like, this is yucky. Okay, Heather. Is this register broken? There's money scattered all over. The register and the cash aren't of much use to me right now. Fuck it. It might be useful later. Pick up the money. Give me the cash. Next, we're going to go to the 5th floor. Is there a prominent smoking person in Silent Hill? Kaufman. We never see Kaufman smoke. You know who does smoke, or at least used to? Heather Mason, aka Cheryl Mason, which we find out about her here in a moment. This was on Extreme 10, that would have been death. Oh, fuck. This slurper might kill me, because it can hit me on the ground. This is an absolute shit show now. Eat the jerky. Stop biting my ass. Eat the jerky. Really? You're still after me? You're supposed to eat it. The slurpers are eating it. You just die. God damn. Okay. Douglas? Douglas potentially could be a smoker. I'm trying to think if we ever see him smoke or... He says I sure could go for a smoke. I want to wake up and have a smoke already. So yeah, Douglas is a smoker. He mentions that in the hotel room after Douglas and Heather drive to Silent Hill. But Heather also used to smoke, which we find out here. Got a matchbook, and there is a cigarette box and ashtray with a cigarette still smoking in it. When you examine it, no more cigarettes for me. I quit for good. Which means at the age of 17, Heather, at some point in her teenage life, was already a smoker and then has quit. Nub, do you know by chance why Dahlia wears a tie in Silent Hill 1? It's so random and slightly off. Nope. That's a great mystery of character design that there is no answer for. He just wears a tie. So here is a fun thing, and something that is definitely worth... Oh, I accidentally used my ampule. I need to unequip these. Fuck. I fat-fingered the button. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that I had to learn as a Silent Hill fan, and that I think a lot of other Silent Hill fans also need to learn when it comes to speculating about references in Silent Hill games. Because for a very, very long time, a lot of fans looked at this and they saw this, you know, orange tinted sort of glass wall room with the wheelchair on the other side. And they said, you know what? That looks just like Session 9. Which is a 2001 movie. Give me a second to pull up the image. Yep, there is a 2001 movie called Session 9. And for years and years and years and years, come on, why are you not showing? People thought this is a reference to Session 9. So, bam. There it is. I don't know why it's tiny. So this is Session 9. God, why is it all fucked up? Transform. Reset. God damn you. Transform. Reset. Grow big. Here we go. Here is Session 9. Screenshot from it. It was used as the movie poster in a lot of regions. So people saw this wheelchair in this spooky hallway and saw this wheelchair in this spooky hallway and thought Team Silent must have been inspired by the imagery of the movie Session 9. And then people asked the developers about it, specifically Masahiro Ito, who designed a lot of the Otherworld locations, and he said, nope, it was a coincidence. So even things that seem like they are directly referenced are sometimes just happy coincidences and are not actually things that Team Silent pulled from or were inspired by. They just happened to come across very similar imagery. And it's something that's really important to keep in mind. That's why I've shifted a lot of how I go about doing these in-depth story playthroughs over the years, and why I don't try to talk a whole lot about things that are speculatory only, no matter how obvious it might seem like it is. It's not always a direct reference. It's not always something that the devs intended to be like a reference. It's just coincidental. So, good lesson to learn for Silent Hill fans. There's a lot of things that seem like you can just be like, oh, this is definitely referencing, such and such. And it's just not the case. There's a big sheet of glass in the way. And we had some other dialogue there while I was explaining things. Is it a flashback to the basement wheelchair in Silent Hill 1? In general, the wheelchairs in Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 are all symbolic of Alessa. She was wheelchair bound after being burned. So that's the purpose for that wheelchair and its existence as far as in-game what it's supposed to represent. But despite the very close similarity, Session 9 was apparently not an inspiration for that scene, that imagery. But now the art gallery that we were in earlier is the Otherworld version, where all these other pictures are gone. And now only the captions remain for each of those. And this section of the wall, where there was a big blank, where there was a picture missing, now has a picture here. There's a caption under the picture, "Flame purifies all. By these remains may a person find the road to paradise." I've seen this picture before. No, wait. I've never seen it, but I do know it somehow. So the reason she knows this is supposed to be Alessa, or as the cult views her, Saint Alessa, being burned, essentially being sacrificed as part of a ritual. So the reason why that is familiar to her is because she was Alessa. She lived through a ritual sacrifice and horrible burning, which is one of those interesting aspects because, again, there's a lot of debate with no definitive answer around if Heather was actually burned as part of the ritual, because Silent Hill 1 has a lot of elements and evidence that sort of support that Alessa being burned was accidental, that the heightened stress levels of Alessa during the impregnation ritual caused her psychic powers to trigger and blew up a boiler in the basement of the Gillespie home, starting a fire. There's a newspaper article that's only missing in the North American version of Silent Hill 1, but it's in every other version of Silent Hill 1 for all the other regions. There's a newspaper article explaining that boiler fire, but we also know that the cult and Kaufman can manipulate the media in Silent Hill, so it could just be a cover-up. So there is some debate whether or not Heather was burned intentionally or not. In all of the depictions of Saint Alessa in Silent Hill 3, she's shown to be burned, but we also know that the cult's idea of who Alessa is and why they worship her as a saint is not accurate historically, based on what we see firsthand in Silent Hill 1. So them representing her being burned for this ritual could just be the way that the cult twisted the accidental fire from Silent Hill 1. Or The fire could have been intentional all along, and the boiler memo in Silent Hill 1 was a cover-up. It could literally be either one, and the story would more or less still make sense. But there is a lot of debate among fans around which way that goes, whether it's intentional or not. Personally, I lean more towards it was an accident. Yeah, Origins also enforces the whole being burned by on purpose, being burned as part of the ritual. But Origins was also completely rewritten in a week by people who didn't really thoroughly understand Silent Hill 1, with a director who didn't even want to make a prequel to Silent Hill 1 and thought that was a bad idea. So I wouldn't exactly count Origins as canonical, personally. But some people are like, hey, if Konami publishes it, it's canon. You don't get to decide that. So, sure. That's one train of thought. My train of thought is, if it doesn't make logical sense to go from one thing to the next, then it doesn't work as canonical, regardless of who published it. But that's just me. So the painting burns away, and we can get to this door hidden on the other side. And we get more of this imagery, the bleeding ears, the laughing mouth, representing, again, using Masahiro Ito's own words, Alessa's shrieking insanity. What might this be? The rest of that fairy tale I read earlier? The priestess accepted the king's request and went to the village gates, but when she saw the monster, she tried to convince it with words instead of killing it. "Shut up, you. I'm going to eat you up." The monster didn't listen to a word the priestess said, but she kept trying to convince the monster to give up. It's wrong to eat people, you know. The monster grew very angry at this and attacked her, killing her with a single mighty blow. The end. Shit. Get a good look at the slurper. I don't know if you've ever looked at these character models, these enemy models, super close. But look at the very bottom of the screen there. Look at the very end of the slurper's mouth. It has a mouth, like at the end of that snoot. Boop the snoot. It's open with like teeth. It almost resembles like a horse. But there is like a mouth with teeth on the very end of it. But what's worse is look at the part near the neck, where it's attached to the rest of the body. That's a human head, like a human ear, with a very distinct place where the rest of the snout is connected, almost like it's stitched on. Because the body itself is like a human torso It's wearing pants, but the arms and legs are all sewn up into stumps. Can't quite see it. Let me see if I can get a better shot of this one. So there you can see the ear and like the line where the front part of the head is more pale as it goes towards the end of the snout. And then there is the mouth. And you can very clearly see the mouth and the teeth. And the ear, the whole head of it. A lot better there. Super creaky. Creaky? Creepy. Spooky and creepy. It's creaky. Yeah, it's almost like a mask. That's on what would otherwise be like a normal human head. Really, again, just really good creature design. I got a silver coin. The lamp's shining on some old silver coins I know I've seen before. I got one earlier, so I shouldn't really take any more. I mean, I'm no thief. I might act like one now and then, though. See, there's, again, a little bit of dialogue, but it infers some character, some personality. Like, Heather acts a little bit like a thief. Once in a while. She likes to take things. Earlier, the ring that was missing in the mall, she was like, oh, it's a shame that ring is missing. Presumably, because if it was still there, she would have considered taking it. But I love that gives an explanation to, like, doing the survival horror protagonist thing of picking up all sorts of items. They work that into her character. Like, she acts like a thief every once in a while. She picks things up. She's a little bit of a klepto. There are your standard coins and bills over here. Of course, it's not like money might not come in handy, and it goes without saying that it would be nice to have. But I think I'll pass on it anyway. There's something written on the wall. Thus one's life turns to riches. What was a bag of silver coins is now the number in a book. Yet fate hath no price. Ah, but do people know this? It's just a bit of a hint to use this silver coin on this vending machine. The silver coin, it's about the size of a quarter. I get the feeling it's really old. Good old key hiding in a can. They actually reused that gag, puzzle, whatever, in Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Got a life insurance key. Fuck. Stop. Bad touch. Roast your ass. got the key for first floor insurance area room thing. Run face first into these walls. Use the life insurance key. Ow! Get... That is not appropriate, sir. You're gonna get me banned. What are you trying to do? That is not TOS. Quit it. Inappropriate. This is such a creepy room. Just for... I mean, you're not in here for very long. So a lot of times, I don't think most people will stop and kind of investigate. But there's all this blood spattered on all of these tarps, kind of similar to the construction tarps that were outside. And these tables that are sort of blocking off this hole in the middle of the room. That if you kind of get a look at it, it's like bottomless. You don't see anything below it. Just this massive hole. And the tables that are around it are actually the scaffolding. It's like the top of the scaffolding that we see, but it just extends down into nothingness. Like super far down. I love the like impossible geometry in Silent Hill games. The like locations where things don't logically make sense the way they look. Like a room that looks like it should be much bigger is much smaller, or vice versa. You know, holes that just go on farther than you can see in places where they shouldn't really exist. That sort of nonsensical, you know, setup for environments, I think is really, really cool. Here we go, the end of the fairy tale. The king and his people shed tears at the death of the kind priestess. God took pity upon them and, granting their wishes, healed the priestess. The priestess opened her eyes just as she had done every morning of her life. She went once more to the monster's lair. Fool, you wish to die again? No, this time it's your turn. The priestess had come to defeat the monster once and for all. As the priestess was very, very kind, she felt sad about this task. But it had to be done. Swords and spears won't work. Arrows and bullets will just bounce off. You can't kill me. The monster laughed, but the priestess used neither sword nor spear. She chanted but a single spell. Tu fui, ego eris. Do you know what happened then? The monster let out a huge cry and then died and vanished. Thus the villagers were able to use their gates once more. Everyone lavished their gratitude upon the priestess, and they all lived happily ever after.
Tu fui ego eris. Weird writing. What was that?
So Heather, being a reincarnation of Alessa and having actual psychic powers, reads this writing out loud to Fui Ego Eris, and just as it had done for the priestess in the story, the monster guarding the gates, the glutton blocking the exit to the hilltop center, has now vanished. There's the first part of the story, but the glutton is nowhere to be seen. Here's those big scaffoldings, similar to what we saw before. Again, we're supposed to be outside now, but we still feel very trapped, considering it's all enclosed because of these big scaffoldings and tarps covering basically everything. My apartment is the other way, but what is this thing blocking the path? Am I still having that nightmare? So close to my home. My home. My dad. Is he okay? I'm sure he is. He must be. Gotta go find Dad. Look, there's Eddie's van. Reused car model from Silent Hill 2. You reused car models from Silent Hill 2. That green pickup truck is also in along the side of the road in the streets of Silent Hill 2. There's some ammo in the back of it during Born from a Wish. Police car, but I don't think we can see Police 53. I want to see if I can see the symbol on the side. Not really. Too many pixels. Tu fui ego eris is Latin, right? What does it mean? Let me see. I think I had that in my notes. I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh, yeah. So it's I was you, I will be. Or rather, it comes from an old Latin phrase. What you are, I was. What I am, you will be. Known as the memento mori. Reminding you always that eventually you will die. That's not my place. Well, there's a lot of weird problems in this apartment hallway. So, we're trying to get to Heather's apartment. This is her house key. Daisy Villa, apartment number 102, is carved into the key. So, we're looking for 102. It's a little bit, I can't zoom in on it, but you should be able to see it. See the number on the door? It's 102. So for some reason, there are two 102s in this hallway. And this one is not Heather's. Hers is the other 102. There's also a weird, nonsensical string of English here. So there's these cardboard boxes. I don't know whose stuff this is, but I think I'll leave it alone. None of it is really can help me out right now. Don't worry, you're not having a stroke. That's what it says. None of it is really can help me out right now? I don't know. I don't know. I get what they're trying to say, but it's weird that such a big mistake made it into the game with the subtitles, the text. So we check these other apartments. There's 104, 106, or excuse me, 105. I guess maybe that could be 103. But odd numbers are on this side. I don't know. This is PS2? No, this is the PC version. This is the official Silent Hill 3 PC release with no mods or anything else, just the base PC version. Not my place. I don't need to use the elevator. My apartment is number 102 on the ground floor. No, this is the stairway. I don't need that. My apartment is number 102 on the ground floor. We're just exploring. Got all this dialogue. The mailbox is empty. So, again, if you play this on PS2 or if you have the modded correct mods for the PC version, you get a Silent Hill 2 reference here. If you're playing on PS2, you need to have save data from Silent Hill 2. But if you examine the mailbox, it will say the mailbox is empty. But when you press the button to see more dialogue, you'll get an extra string of dialogue here that says there's not even a letter from a dead wife or anything like that. Not that I have one of those anyway. So again, a little reference to Silent Hill 2 that originally you'd only see if you had memory card with Silent Hill 2 save data on it. Sadly, it's not accessible in the PC version by default, but there are mods out there that can enable those Silent Hill 2 Easter eggs. But I rotate out what versions of the game I play whenever I do these story playthroughs. And this time around, I wanted to show what the PC version of this game looks like without any mods, because it's still really, really good. Looks very nice, plays very nice. What's this doing here? That really pisses me off. It's like having someone spit on your sacred place. Some people are into that. Looking at that makes me head hurt. What does it mean? Some more great fucked up subtitles. Again, every mistake, this game is so good with its subtitles and things, but then this one hallway has so many fucked up details. The wrong number on the door plate, the weird mixed up grammar sentence on the other end of the hallway, and then making me head hurt. Looking at that makes me head hurt. What does it mean? All right. Unequip this. Hey, Kronos. Do good work doing the explained playthroughs. Thank you. I would hope I'm decent at it. I've been playing these games since the first one came out in 1999, and I've been streaming them pretty much full time since 2015. So we've done a lot of these story playthroughs, speedruns, challenge runs, all sorts of Silent Hill stuff over the years. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. You guys are still here, still supporting me, still enjoying what I do after all this time, so hey, if people still want to see it, I'll keep on doing it. Because I love these games. I love talking about them, playing them. and enjoying them with other fans. But I'm sorry, it's time for feels.
Dad, I'm home. Listen, something really crazy's going on. I think we should... Dad? Dad? No! 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 Did you do this?
You're late.
But why? Why?
Revenge for 17 years ago, for one thing. If not for him, our dream would have come true. And then he took you away from us.
I'll get you for this!
There is another reason. To fill your heart with hatred. It must be this way. One day you'll understand why.
No, I'll never understand!
You must try to remember me, and your true self as well. You will birth a god, and build an eternal paradise. He's the one who killed your father. I merely gave the order. So, what will you do? I'll be waiting where all begins. In the town of Silent Hill.
She said it. Roll the credits. Silent Hill. I'll be waiting where it all begins in Silent Hill 3. Jed Ashtelin, good morning. Hope you slept well. Hope you're having a good morning. Thank you so much for the 14 months. Very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Eternal 80 with the $5 tip. Just keep on keeping on. I will keep on keeping on. Thank you so much for the 5. Very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Again, as long as people enjoy what I do, I'll be here doing it. So, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Not just now, but again, over the years. I've been on Twitch since 2011. I've been doing Silent Hill since 2015. And I never would have imagined that people would still be here enjoying what I do almost 8 years later. So, thank you guys. Seriously, it means the world to me. Thank you all so much. Let me try to answer some of these questions that came up in chat. Questions and comments that came up in chat during the cutscene. I didn't want to talk over it. Valtiel said, I just want to say that for a man who made it through Silent Hill and killed God, that goofy-ass missionary motherfucker better have snuck up on him real good. It looks like that's what happened. He's just dead in the chair. Like, he didn't get up. It didn't look like it was any kind of fight. He probably didn't even see it coming. Which, yeah, I agree. Kronos, he said, you don't like the way they kill Harry. Kill him just like that. Yeah, it's very sad that Harry didn't, like, get even a chance to fight back. But I think that's intentional. I feel like that is intentional so that for the players who are fans of Silent Hill 1 and this game slowly revealing that it's a sequel to Silent Hill 1, so they instantly start teasing you with like, oh, we're going to go see Harry Mason. We're going to see Harry Mason. And then you get here and he's just dead. He's just dead in the chair without having put up a fight or anything. Because they want the player, I think, to feel very similarly to Heather. They want you to be sad and they want you to be pissed off and they want you to have a reason to go after Claudia. Dragon Longsword. Is there a version of the game that shows Harry in full? Yes, it's called the HD Collection. Because the HD Collection took away all of the letterboxing on the cutscenes and stretched them and cropped them to fit 1920 by 1080 aspect ratios, it shows Harry's full face and everything. So that's the version of the game that shows him in full, even though Team Silent intentionally didn't want to show his entire face. So yeah, the HD collection does show it. And because it shows his entire face, it completely gives away the fact that Harry Mason's model for Silent Hill 3 is James Sunderland. It's James's model taken from Silent Hill 2 and then recolored and retextured to represent Harry. They take the green jacket, make it brown, and voila, it looks like Harry. How exactly does Claudia control the monsters? Does she use gyromancy? That's not what gyromancy does at all. Gyromancy is a real, well, quote-unquote, real thing that you can actually look up. It's a method of psychic divination where one spins around letters or runes or whatever, and you spin and walk around them until you get dizzy and fall down. And then, like, let's say you're doing it with letters, so you spin and you spin and you spin and you fall and you land on L, and that's your first letter. And then you spin and you spin and you spin and you fall down and you land on O, and that's your second letter. You do that over and over and over and over until you spell out a prediction of the future. That's really what gyromancy is. It doesn't control things. Doesn't do that. As far as Claudia's control over creatures, it's really difficult to say. Heather does have psychic abilities, like even as Alessa, she had a lot of particular abilities, but we don't really know the entire extent of those abilities. We know that she can project herself, sort of astral project herself, and make herself appear differently in her astral projection. That's why we see the teenaged, not burned version of Alessa running around in Silent Hill 1. But yeah, apparently Claudia also has powers. That's what Vincent winds up saying towards the end of the game, that he doesn't have powers like you two, referring to Heather and Claudia. So this must just be one of Claudia's psychic abilities as well. Alright. Let's kill this fucker and avenge Dad. Shit. Even on extreme difficulty, unlimited ammo machine gun cannot be stopped.
I don't know what to say.
Then don't say anything. I'm fine, so just get out of here and leave me alone already!
Calm down.
Calm down? How am I supposed to do that? My father is dead! He's murdered! Get out! This is all your fault! If it weren't for you...
I'm sorry.
Then go!
If it'll make you feel better, I will.
So Heather yells at Douglas to go, but then she realizes she needs to move her father's body, and bodies are heavy and hard to move by yourself. So Douglas is still here,
Is he okay?
because he had to help move Harry.
What else can I do? There's no one here to give him a decent burial. I'm sorry, Dad.
What do you do now?
I'm going to Silent Hill.
What's in Silent Hill?
I don't know.
Do you think it's safe?
Of course it isn't. I don't know what kind of hell is waiting for me there, but I've got no other choice. I don't care about God or paradise. If that's what she believes, then fine. But she won't get away with what she did. When I find her, I'll kill her myself.
Revenge doesn't solve anything.
Maybe not, but that's what I'm going to do.
How are you gonna get there?
None of your business.
I'll give you a ride.
I don't need your help.
Yeah, but it's too far to walk. Besides, I'm partly responsible for this. I'll bring the car around back. Come by when you finish saying goodbye.
You know, you might die too.
That's fine. Nobody's gonna cry over my grave.
All right, who's ready for some more feels? I know it's already sad in-game that we've lost Harry Mason, and we have this very emotional music and scene and everything that's happening right now. And I know it's a little bit funny. We're laughing at Douglas. We're having a laugh. He's not wearing pants. For anyone who doesn't know about the no pants thing, that is a code. It's not a mod or anything like that. If you're doing extra New Game Plus on Silent Hill 3, and you input the Konami code on the title screen, up, up, down, down, left, right, confirm, cancel, start. If you put that Konami code in, Douglas will not be wearing pants or a shirt throughout the game. So that's what that is. Here's the other thing about Douglas. So that line that was especially depressing and sad, where Douglas says no one will cry over his grave anyway, that is one of the last things that Douglas's voice actor, Richard Gross, ever recorded, because immediately after finishing his recording and dialogue for Silent Hill 3, he passed away from liver failure before Silent Hill 3 even released. Like, he didn't even live long enough to see how big of a success this game actually wound up being. So, in case you weren't already tearing up from this whole situation with Harry and everything going on in-game, yeah, the story behind Douglas's voice actor is like very, very sad. There's nothing odd about the TV or the VCR. Dad's bookshelf. There's nothing unusual about it. Dad's body. I'll find that woman and make her pay. I promise I will. I wonder if my dad would be mad at me for thinking that way. This is the closet, nothing to do here. Tokyo Sandblaster, you want me to check for ashtrays? We can do that. We'll look around at everything. Books, Kleenex, Dad's bookshelf, TV, VCR, phone. Is there a special thanks or in honor of Richard Gross at the end of this game? I never paid attention. I don't think there is. I don't think there is, actually. What's a VCR? Get Out. Is an 18 and older stream only. Although there's a lot of full grown-ass adults, 18 and older, that still would be too young to really know what a VCR is. Here's some interesting child artwork that is very relevant to the story. So, it's a child's drawing, something that presumably Heather would have done when she was young. But look at what it depicts. In the middle, the girl with the dark hair and dress is Alessa. And on either side of her are the two times that she was reincarnated. The one on the left with the dark hair being the first Cheryl from Silent Hill 1, when Alessa first split her soul. And on the right, with the blonde hair, representing Heather, even though she's not a natural blonde, but representing this other reincarnation of Alessa. So even as a child, subconsciously, Heather was making drawings that sort of represent who she is and who she used to be. There are books on the table, just his usual detective novels. My dad loved them. No ashtray, teacup, kettle. Here's the most important thing in the entire apartment. Look at this fucking bear. Look at that teddy bear. It almost looks more like an otter. It's so long and skinny. Yeah, sweet bear. Long bear is long. Dad, why did you have to die? You told me you were the strongest man in the world. Liar. He's no liar. You're here because he killed a fucking god 17 years ago. Just for them to fucking sneak up and get him in a chair. There's no need to go back on the roof. That monster is dead now. Besides, Douglas is waiting outside. Just the regular TV. There's nothing different about it. A lot of stuff to look at in Heather's room. I don't remember exactly when, but I think I got this doll at a garage sale. I still like it, but there's nothing I can do with it right now. We'll find later on that as Alessa, she actually had similar dolls. One of them was actually named Scarlet, which may have been where the team behind Silent Hill Homecoming got their idea for Scarlet, the boss, Scarlet Fitch, who is also a doll. Well, as a child, she enjoys dolls. As a horrible monster, she is one. She's a big porcelain doll. We got some family photos hanging on the wall. This nice blonde woman, hard to tell. Heather. Blonde Squall. Yeah, Blonde Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. It almost looks like Dahlia. Like Shattered Memories, sexy Dahlia. Of course, this is way before that, but another picture, whatever that could possibly be. And also, holy fuck, what's wrong with your face? What is this? Why is this? What? I wish I knew. This is just one of those weird little background textures that it's like the hype face in Silent Hill 1. Ben Affleck. A bald Chinian. Morning always comes. It's corny, but it's true. But if your eyes are closed, it always feels like night. Ooh, I can feel the edge. That's the hero's line from this movie. I always liked that line, but now it just seems stupid. From Un Notte. Got a stun gun. This is my dresser. I don't need to change. I'll leave it alone. You do need to change. Your father's blood is literally on your vest right now. So like, I think a change of clothes is definitely in order. Much better. Nothing to look at in the bathroom. Nothing that she comments on anyway. About it for everything in here. Photos and pictures, they aren't particularly meaningful. Need to get this outfit unlocked. All you have to do to unlock this outfit is beat the game once, and it gives you an extra costume option on the main menu. And all you have to do is type in Princess Heart in that costume unlock typewriter thing. And it will unlock this. Although, if you want to unlock the Sexy Beam and Heather Beam weapons to go along with it, that takes a lot more work. You have to kill 333 enemies, which is more than there is in the game. So you have to do multiple playthroughs where you basically kill everything, absolutely everything. Usually takes around 4 playthroughs if you don't use the respawning enemy trick. Basically, there's a few areas where you can leave and come back and it'll always respawn enemies. And you can farm it that way. It takes a long time. Nothing to do in the kitchen. I'm not hungry at all. Who could eat something in a situation like this? That's fair. That's fair. That's all she'll say. But no. No evidence of smokers in this entire house. So again, Heather said she used to smoke, but said that she's also quit. And yeah, Harry doesn't strike me as a smoker either. Oh, there was actually something to kind of talk about here. So there's all these photos and pictures that are on the wall here. There was originally another one that the team omitted before the final release of the game, but it's still in the game files. Oop, this one. So this is how that wall used to look. This used to be an extra photo that was there, showing Harry and Heather together. I can understand why they decided to not use this for the final version of the game, because PlayStation 1 CG Harry next to PlayStation 2 in-game model Heather next to each other is kind of jarring. So I can see why they decided not to use it. But originally there was a extra photo of them together right here on the wall. Not originally, like it's not in any version. In early versions of the game, pre-release versions of the game, I can't reach anybody, not the police or the church. Took me a while. I used to think that was a weird line. Like, why would you call the church? But I guess, like, death in the family, funeral arrangements, plus it's implied in some of the supplementary materials and stuff out there, and like the play novel, that Harry Mason was Christian. I don't know if he would still be Christian after his experiences in Silent Hill 1, but yeah, even non-religious families and people would probably want to contact a church after a death in the family, just for arranging funerals. Michelle, holy shit, gifting 10 subs out to the community. Holy fuck, Michelle. Thank you so much. That is a lot of love and support. Thank you. If anybody got a sub, for everyone who got one, please tell Michelle SWE thanks. Enjoy your subs. Enjoy your emotes, everybody. Michelle, thank you so much. I think that's everything. Nothing else to examine. Oh, the stun gun. I need to look at the stun gun. It's got an interesting description. High voltage to zap the bad guys. It has to touch them though, so it's very short range. My worrywart dad gave this to me, quote unquote, just in case. I don't usually carry it with me because it's bulky and gets in the way. So she prefers carrying around her switchblade. This one. She loves walking around with this compared to the stun gun. But I love that. Harry being a worrywart dad, giving her a stun gun. which makes 100% sense when you understand some of the backstory of Silent Hill 3, where before they lived here, they lived somewhere else, but someone from the cult found them and tracked them down, and Harry shot and killed the cult member who broke into their house and attacked them. So basically he got, self-defense, and then they moved away to where they're living now, which is supposed to be in the Portland, Maine area. So understandable why Harry would be a worrywart dad and give her a stun gun at some point. Very understandable. It's time to go to Silent Hill.
I just met some guy named Vincent.
Vincent?
Douglas is going to drive
He's
us
a friend
there.
of yours, right?
Vincent showed up.
I'm not sure.
He said when we get to Silent Hill to look for a guy named Leonard.
Vincent
He
has
gave me this map.
intentionally sending Heather after Leonard.
What do you want to do?
We can't trust him, but we've got no other choice.
Here, take this too.
What's this?
Your father was holding it.
So Harry was holding this to my dear daughter. And now we get basically our summary of Silent Hill 1 for people who played 3 without playing 1. This is where Heather kind of fills in
Started raining.
some of the events of that game. Very briefly, very vaguely, but it's a wonderful scene.
You cold?
Good dialogue, good deliveries, wonderful music.
What's the deal with Silent Hill anyway? It used to be a nice, quiet little town. But now,
You've been there?
once, on a missing persons case. Never did find him. But I'll tell you, that's one screwed up town. My line of work, you hear a lot of nasty rumors.
I was born and raised there.
Sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
No offense taken.
Anyway, I thought you grew up in Portland. What's wrong? Feeling sick?
My head's pounding like the worst hangover ever.
Maybe you're car sick.
No. I'm just trying to remember. My childhood. Something terrible happened in Silent Hill 17 years ago. A woman named Dahlia. She tried to summon the ancient god of the town. She offered up her very own daughter.
That's crazy.
Maybe so, but it worked. The girl gave birth to a god. You see, that girl had special powers.
Powers?
Her classmates called her a witch. She could make things happen with her mind. She could kill people just by wishing for it. But in the end, that god was killed by a single person. My father, Harry Mason. guess it wasn't much of a god if it could be killed by a human being. But I think Claudia's trying to do the same thing again. And I've been chosen as the sacrifice.
You've got some kind of power in you too?
After the god was killed, the girl reappeared. She was holding a baby in her arms. Before she died, she gave the baby to my father. He loved me just like I was his very own daughter. Even though he didn't know who or what I was. It was so sudden. I never had a chance to tell you how happy you made me.
I'm gonna head for that Leonard guy's house. You check out the hospital. You got the map, right?
Yeah,
You gonna be okay alone?
I'm not a child, you know. Are you sure it's not you who's afraid to be alone?
You're right. I am afraid. I'm 50-something years old. I never seen nothing like this. I still feel like I'm dreaming.
More like a nightmare, I'd say.
Yeah. I want to wake up and have a smoke already. Meet me back here when you're finished looking around the hospital. Okay?
Roger.
Yeah. Wearing the Princess Heart outfit during that scene with Douglas driving here, and even here in the hotel room, definitely gives off some big Dad, can you drop me off at the anime convention vibes. But silly costume or not, love that scene. Great music. The song is Letter from the Lost Days during the car ride. Heather kind of summarizing the events of Silent Hill 1. But yeah, between the music and the dialogue, the delivery, the rain, even like the ambient sounds, the rain hitting the car and the windshield wiper sound, little details like that add so much to the scene. And it's little details like that that the HD collection fucks up. Again, there's a lot of people out there who are like, HD collection is fine. It's just nitpicky Silent Hill fans overblowing stuff. And I mean, is a missing windshield wiper sound nitpicking? Yes. But is it inconsequential? No. It absolutely affects the mood of the scene. Not to mention there's a lot of things in the HD collection much worse than that. Like, the list of problems is a mile long. But that's a discussion for another stream, another day. Or if you want to go look up my worst of the worst episode that I streamed many years ago, where I went through the HD collection of Silent Hill 2 and 3 and explained every single difference in painstaking detail, all of the things that are wrong and changed. There's a lot. There's a lot wrong. That's the bathroom. I don't need to use it right now. Maybe you don't, but I kind of do. So I think I'm going to take a break before we venture out into Silent Hill. We're here. We're finally here. It's been 8 hours. We just hit the 8-hour mark for the stream. So now we're finally in Silent Hill. It took that long to talk about everything leading up to this. So we're halfway through. 8 more hours, everybody. Typical 16-hour Silent Hill 3 stream. Just like the good old days, right here at twitch.tv/nubzombie. Because I've been doing this for a long time, and it always takes this long or longer. Typical? This is pretty typical for me. Anybody who is here and enjoys my channel and kind of knows what I do, this is what I've been doing for years and years. We do these playthroughs, we do them in one sitting, we talk about everything that we possibly can, and it almost always takes at least 12 hours, if not more. Tokyo Sandblaster, did you ever think about doing a lore coherency video on the Silent Hill movies? I might try and put something like that together for YouTube. That would be the type of thing that I could definitely do more by making like a scripted, edited video specifically for YouTube rather than a live stream on Twitch. Twitch is a lot more particular with terms of service, and I'm wary about showing clips and things from the movie to kind of explain what I'm talking about. Whereas YouTube, I could get away with all of those kinds of things. I just wouldn't be able to monetize the video, which is totally fine by me. I don't really monetize anything on YouTube anyway. So that would be the kind of thing that I could most likely make on YouTube, but I wouldn't really be able to do for a Twitch stream. So maybe one day, especially with the new movie coming out. Christoph Gans, who directed the first Silent Hill movie, is going to be making a movie based on Silent Hill 2. That was one of the things that was announced at during the Konami Silent Hill transmission back in October. So it would be good to make a video about those movies, considering we're about to get another one. Sick in bed with the flu. This is a great distraction. I'm sorry to hear that, King Kane. Hopefully you feel better. But yeah, take it easy. I'm going to take a break, stretch my legs, get another drink, all that good stuff. I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we will venture out into the town of Silent Hill. We're going to make our way over to Brookhaven Hospital to find Leonard Wolf, Claudia's father, and we have been directed to go there by Vincent. So, be back in just a little bit, and we will continue on. Lots more Silent Hill 3 to go, and we're still doing that all in one setting, so we still got several hours left. But yeah, stick around. I'll be back in just a little bit.